Hi!
Now, Noah's patience is being tested, but it ends in a promise. We just finished in chapter 7, and as you can imagine, the earth is silent from the floodwater. God's judgment came, just like he said it would. So as we go into chapter 8, we're going to read about how everything plays out and how Noah's patience actually plays an important role in this chapter, in his journey. And don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, comment. That lets me know that somebody's watching. I love making these videos, but I love to know if somebody's getting anything valuable out of it. So do me that favor and hit that like button. So let's get into chapter 8. So I want you to grab your Bible, or if you use a Bible app, that's fine. If you want to take notes, grab a journal, a pen, anything you'd like. I have my blanket back here. Sometimes it's downstairs. When I'm reading my Bible and it's just me and God, I like to cover up with my blanket because that's my me and God time. So, and I like to give God my full attention, just like as we see, as we read, God gave Noah his full attention. All right, so let's get going. And chapter 8, verse 1. But God remembered Noah and all the animals and livestock that were with him in the ark. And he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now, I misread. It says the wild animals. I'm not sure if that plays a big difference, but I read over the word wild. But it does say the wild animals. And when it says God remembered Noah, it doesn't mean that God forgot Noah. It means he now has his complete, full attention. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of the heavens had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. The waters receded steadily from the earth, and at the end of 150 days, the water had gone down. And on the 17th day, on the 17th month, the ark came on the rest on the mountain of Ararat. So this was the first rain. So can you imagine the first rain going down like this, literally? So until we see that the promise in the next chapter, at the end of this chapter, I would kind of be afraid of it to rain again after we see that Noah was on this ark for about a year with his family. So at this point, he is on the ark for 150 days, which is 5 months, and it finally rested. And I looked up where that mountain is, and it says it's in modern day Turkey. So I just get a little curious sometimes. All right, so verse 5. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month, and on the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains became visible. After 40 days, Noah opened a window he had made in the ark and sent out a raven, and it kept flying back and forth until the water dried up from the earth. Now, why is the raven important in this? What key part does it play? Well, the raven is a scavenger. It's a bird of prey. So when it went out, it was to be said that it was feeding off the carcasses of humans and other animals, and then it would come back because there was no actual place to land. So let me make sure I got everything right here. They will adapt in most eating situations, and yeah, so there wasn't really much for them to rest on, so they would go out and eat and then come back. Then he sent out a dove to see if the water had receded from the ground or surface of the ground. But the dove could not find anywhere to perch because there was water all over the surface of the ground. So it returned to Noah in the ark. He reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back to himself in the ark. He waited 7 more days and again sent out the dove from the ark. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew that the water was receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days, and then the dove sent the dove out again, but this time it didn't return. So the raven didn't return because, and it doesn't say in here, but it's kind of we read it between the lines. He found somewhere. So he, finally went out, found somewhere. So when Noah sent the dove out, the doves aren't scavengers. So it kept coming back because there was nowhere for it to land. Doves eat seeds, berries, greens. And we see that Noah waited 7 more days. Now that was definitely showing patience, but it was necessary. So could you imagine everybody on the ark right now just, yes, it's time to get off, it's time to go off, and nope, we gotta wait some more. So reflection moment, just a time to reflect. Are we ever jumping the gun when we're in God's will, when we want to be in God's will, but we have to wait? We're being told to wait. We're being told to be patient, but we don't want to be patient. I can assure you, patience is definitely worth it if you want to stay in God's will. Trust me. Been there, done that. I'm there right now. So it said that at the end of all of this, after the 40-day and 40-night reign, they actually ended up staying on this ark for about a year. So can you imagine having everybody on this ark for a year, not knowing exactly when you're getting off? Now that's faith. Now that is some rock solid faith. And the significance of the olive leaf in the dove's beak is that was a sign that life was flourishing again. And, I looked up the meaning of doves because I kind of went into that. And doves are associated with peace, gentleness, and God's mercy and love. All right, so let's get back in verse 13. By the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw the surface of the ground was dry. By the 27th day of the second month, the earth was completely dry. So we see that he still waited. He saw that the ground was dry, but he still waited a full month. We see right here, the first day of the first month, the water had dried up, but it wasn't till the 27th day of the second month that the earth was completely dry. So once again, he's showing patience. So this shows that he's willing to wait on God's timing and not to be going on his timing. At this point, I can imagine some of the family members are groaning. If you read it at face value, just kind of skip over it. But I think they're kind of wondering, like, when are we getting off this ark? So this man has some serious patience. So how about a faith-focused moment? Is there something in your life that God is telling you to trust him on and have patience, but you don't want to wait for that? But we do know that God's will is always better than our own understanding. So let's get back into verse 15. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in number on it." So Noah came out together with his sons and his wives and his sons' wives, all the animals and all the creatures that move along the ground, and all the birds, everything that had moved on land. They came out of the ark one after another. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. Okay, so did you catch that? Noah built an altar. The first thing Noah did, he didn't get off the ark and he didn't complain about having to stay on the ark for a year. He was grateful and appreciative and worshiped God because God kept him and his family safe. So you know where I'm going with this. Faith-focused moment. Sorry, guys. My phone ended up cutting. I'm not sure where it was, but I think I was on the faith-focused moment. So, faith-focused moment. When has God protected you from something? When you had to be patient, you had to trust him, and looking back, you're just like, wow, if I hadn't trusted and I haven't been patient, that could have went a completely different way. And have you thanked God for it? What are you thinking about right now that God protected you from that you have not thanked him for? Why don't you thank him for it right now? Pause this video and thank him for it. He's worth it. All right, so let's finish out verse 21 all the way through. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood. And never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease." So I got some commentary from a Bible Hub. Noah's offering of the clean animals as a sacrifice further emphasized his devotion, as he gave God his best rather than holding back offering as second best. This act of worship is likened to the pleasing aroma to God, drawing a relatable comparison to the enticing smell of a neighbor's barbecue. It's funny because before I read that, I was thinking, I was like, I know it's not the same thing. It's not on the same level. It's not on the same scale. But have you ever walked outside and just smelled someone barbecuing and your mouth just waters and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so good. Um, that's what the commentary said. So I guess I'm not the only one who thinks that. And you know, if it takes something like that to really get the picture, then there's nothing wrong with that. My phone keeps shutting off. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm getting this video out. This is the third time I've recorded this thing and it's just fighting me. But we're in the home stretch. So this is getting out today. So we watched as Noah displayed patience during God's judgment. God kept him and his family safe. And it sets an example for us in our everyday life. For God's protection, for our trust, our faith. Are we putting our trust in God? Are we trusting his protection? And are we displaying patience and mercy towards other people? I mean, have you gone to Walmart lately? Have you driven in the traffic lately? It gets hard. So leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. In the next video in chapter 9, we're going to read about the famous rainbow everybody's familiar with. So until next time, keep walking in faith and stay rooted. Sorry guys, my phone keeps closing on me. But in the next chapter, we're going to... My son's making faces. When we go into chapter 9, we're going to talk about the rainbow. Now, everybody knows the rainbow, but I feel like there's more to it. Until next time, keep walking in faith and stay rooted in grace.